Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us here at Oklahoma Central on our webinar today for Car Buying Made Easy. I'm Jana Harding. I'm our Financial Development Officer, and today I have Kat with me, who is our VP of Lending, and who is working our chat box is Leah Bowles, our Director of Communications. If you have any questions at all during today's webinar, please don't hesitate to go to the chat box and ask a question. Within 24 hours, someone from our team will respond back to you with any questions that you may have. Or if you think of something afterwards, you're more than welcome to email us and we'll be glad to get you those answers. Thank you again so much for joining us today, and we'll go ahead and get started in Car Buying Made Easy. How to save time and money. Our first thing with car buying is we want to make sure that we start with patience. Car buying can be very stressful. It can be a hassle. I know when I bought a new car about a year and a half ago, it was something I just was putting off until I could not put it off any longer. So some things that are going on now, as we all know, we are living in a market where things are a lot more expensive than what they were before. Now what some of the things we're looking at for a new car, the average price is starting at $48,000. One of our largest purchases that you are going to make is going to be along with your car in your home. And you want to make sure that before you go car shopping, that you do your homework. You want to look at consumer reports that are out there, cars.com, the NADA, also Carfax is great. You want to start with data and look to see what are the best and worst cars of the year. What do people like the most? What do they not like the most? And decide exactly what is it that you want. I know for myself, when I'm looking at car buying, one of the things I'll start looking at is cars that are broken down on the side of the road, and I pay attention to those vehicles, and I just kind of like keep an eye out with, wow, do I want to get something like that or not? So these are just different things that we can look at.
I kind of like that approach.
Yeah, it just makes it a little bit, it's like, oh, wait a minute, I saw several of those. Now, a lot of people wonder about why should I buy new, used, or lease? And in fact, this is a question I've even had over the years of going through when I buy a car. So I thought this would be easy if we could break this down for people to understand that necessarily don't. So for our new cars, of course, we know that's going to be our most expensive option. On a used car, that's going to get us our best value for our dollar, and we may get a car that's a couple of years older, or we may get a car that's just a year older. With lease, it gets you into that new car for cheaper, but you're left with nothing at the end of your lease. You have to find a new car to lease. So what about with you, Kat? Which would you prefer? Do you prefer buying a new car or a used car?
Used. Yeah, used all day. And it's only because my husband has skewed me that way. I used to be a new car person. So I thought, oh, well, that's where I get the best value. Not necessarily. It's, if you have the vehicle checked out, that's what I've learned, is my last two vehicles, I've bought Jeeps my whole entire life. And I take them, look at them, take them, get diagnostics run, and then, and then buy them. I've had a few that I've never had a lemon, knock on wood, on my Jeeps, but it's because I trust them. I like the way they're built. I like the way that they, they get decent gas mileage. But my husband definitely has convinced me to go with used, for sure.
And that's how it is. It's just a matter of our opinion and what it is that we like. I'd always done used too, and now I just have to look at what has what I really want in it to go with that for it. And so, and I also know, though, people that love to lease vehicles. And I'm like, that's a great option when you're not driving a lot, things like that. But it is a good option if you're not looking to put your money back into your car and be able to sell it when it's up. So what we want to do first of all is to be honest with ourselves. We want to set a reasonable budget. We want to make it to be affordable for us. We want to make sure not only is the total price affordable, but the payments are affordable. We want to look at what the gas mileage is for it. If you live, like I know for me, I only live about 15 minutes from work. So gas mileage on a car is not that big of a deal to me. But I know other team members that they drive 45 minutes just to get to work. So gas mileage would be a big deal. We also want to look at tags, because when we buy new, we're going to pay more for those tags than what we're going to pay when we buy used or lease. Also, we need to look at maintenance, tires, oil changes, etc. that may be on a car. I actually was listening to a conversation the other day between a young adult and a parent, and one of the things they were talking about was trading in their used car for a new car. And one of their deals that they'd said was, well, I've put tires on it, I've done this, I've done that, and not realizing you don't get that part of that money back out of it. So that's just part of the maintenance. You want to look at that with it. And also auto insurance. I don't know about you, but I'll tell people, Kat, to get 3 insurance quotes just to see with, okay, who's my current one, and then get 3 more to make sure you're getting that best deal out there for your insurance.
I do the same thing. We shop and shop. We actually went through Member Haven through the credit union, and I was able to switch it all over, and I think that we saved about $600 a year just on our auto insurance. So that's a big expense.
That could be a car payment.
Yes.
Right there that you save in that. It is. And that's one of the big things. You want to always make sure that we're shopping around for our auto insurance. And I know when I bought my car 1.5 years ago, I sent my insurance company and 3 others the 5 different vehicles I was wanting, and that helped me determine which vehicle I was going to purchase for how much the insurance was going to be. Now what we want to look at is, what are our pros for buying a new car? We all like the new and up to date with everything. So one of the nice things with the new car is it can be made to order. In fact, we have a team member that they're waiting on getting their new car in, and we're able to made to order, and very excited for them to be able to get it. When they get it, we all get to go see it. It's not a used car. There are usually longer warranties on a new car, lower interest rates, less maintenance when we're purchasing a new vehicle, advanced technology, we get the best of what's coming out, peace of mind on reliability, and also safety measures that can go in with that. Now, some of the things we want to look at on our cons for buying a new car is you're going to pay a higher price for the vehicle. As soon as you drive it off the lot, the car is going to depreciate. You're going to have higher insurance rates with a new vehicle. Like we said a minute ago, tags on a new vehicle are going to cost more than what a used vehicle would cost. And also, like I said, it's instant depreciation as soon as we drive off of that lot. Now, here are some of our, on used cars, what are some of our good things on buying our used car is? It's going to be a lower price for your vehicle. You could pay cash at time of purchase, declining depreciation because it's already depreciated, cheaper auto insurance rates versus new. Also, typically it's a smaller loan amount, and it's quicker to pay off, usually pay off a used car than a new car quicker because of how much we've done that loan for. And also high quality options. You can get a used car and still get everything that you want in it. And so sometimes that's some of the things to look at, that even though it's just a year, not like it'd be a 22 instead of a 23 that we're looking at, it could still have all those bells and whistles that we want to have on it, and maybe just have 15 to 20,000 miles on it. So some more, these are our cons that we have for buying a used vehicle is, used car warranties are not as good as a new one. There are usually more maintenance than new, higher interest rates sometimes, also limited on our choices, and reliability concerns. But also, as we know how car dealers are today, is they're usually really good about checking those cars out before they're getting them out and walking out that door with it. Now here we are on some of our leasing pros. The good things about leasing one is that it's a lower monthly payment with no or little down payment. You can drive a better car for less monthly payments. The vehicle usually still covered by the manufacturer's warranty. It's easy to transition to a new car every 2 or 3 years. There's no trade to hassle at the end of your lease, and there's less sales tax on it. So it definitely has some good pros to why leasing a vehicle. Now here's our cons to leasing a vehicle is we don't own the car at the end of the lease. We're limited on the mileage, so that's something you want to look at on leasing a car is how far are we driving to work every day? What are our usual commutes that we may have on the weekends? Things like that. Do we live in city? Do we live out of the city? You must have good credit. That's a huge must for being able to lease a vehicle. Termination fees are costly if you decide at any time you need to be able to get out of the lease. Also, over time, leasing can cost you more than buying. So that's something you're definitely going to want to look into. And must maintain the vehicle in good conditions. I know for me, with one dog that weighs over 100 pounds and then my other little lap dog, Jax will destroy the backseat of a car for me quicker than any human possibly could. So those are things that you want to look at. If you're like a lot of us, that you're a dog person or animal person of any type and you like to take them with you, those are things that we want to look at to see when we're leasing our vehicle. Now, another thing is that we want to look at too here is knowing our credit score. It determines our interest rate of your auto loans. I have a lot of people ask me sometimes, and I don't know if people ask me this too, if they're like, I want to buy a new car, so what's my rate going to be? But they don't necessarily realize we go off of what your credit score is versus what we go off of the collateral. Also, a low credit score could equal higher interest rates or highly monthly payments. We want to try to improve our credit score before buying if we don't have a really good credit score. Also, buying your first car, if you're under the age of 25 and you've never had an auto loan before, look at Oklahoma Central. We would love to finance that first time auto buyer car for you. And that's one of the things that our loan officers, they really pride themselves on, how much they're able to help people get into that. So far this year, we've helped 8 people.
I think it's 35.
35, okay, yeah. So 35 people getting into a new car through our first time auto buyer program. Is there any tips on that you'd like to tell them? Maybe that's something I'm not thinking of, just the easiness of it to get on and apply for the first time auto?
It's actually just as easy as applying for a regular vehicle. We do encourage our members to take a class. They have to take a really quick class. They get a certificate for that class because it's a first time buyer. Really talks about payment shock and, all of these things that we're talking about today, such as, you're going to have auto insurance. Have you thought about that? You're going to have, this, that. Have you thought this through is essentially what that course does. And then we take a look at it. And you can get that loan if you're under the age of 35 and no credit bureau showing a car, right? So you've never financed a car. Now you may have bought a car cash, but if you've never financed one and it's not on your credit bureau, then you would qualify for that. And they are pretty good loan rates as well for first time auto buyers. So it's an easy program to get qualified for.
Well, I know one of my daughters, I have 3, and my middle one, she actually did this program several years ago, and she called and was like, I just completed the first time car buyer program. I'm going today to close at this branch on my loan. And what she had done, because she really did not have very much credit established, she was just graduated from college, was going through college. So she actually did this program for a year and then was able to refinance at a much lower interest rate a year later. Excuse me. And I also have my youngest just graduated from college and is looking at getting a new car. And even though she's owned a car, but she paid cash for it, I was like, you definitely qualify for this program. So those are things that people don't necessarily think of on what different ways the credit unions trying just to help you get that extra foot ahead. Now we want to look at know what you are signing. You want to know the sale of the price of the vehicle, which will be on the bill of sale. Exactly what is your interest rate going to be? The total amount financed, you want to look and make sure they don't add any extra fees or anything like that on there. You want to make sure the term of the loan is exactly how you want it to be. Again, our processing and financing fees, go over that to make sure everything's correct. The amount credited for your trade-in, you want to make sure that they've got that on there. I know that when I traded in my car a year and a half ago, that was one of the big things. I want to make sure they had applied what they were giving me. And you want to look at what the total monthly payments of it is going to be. And that's another reason why it's so important to get pre-approved, that you can get pre-approved through your credit union before you even go into the dealership. Or if you're a member here at Oklahoma Central Credit Union, you can even let the dealership know, I'm a member at Oklahoma Central and I would like to use my credit union for my loan. And they'll be able to take care of everything for you. Now, understanding 0% interest rate. Difficult to qualify and a higher credit score is a must. And that's something that's very important for people to remember. Also, it's offered by the automaker. There's no price negotiation when you do 0% interest. Also, they usually will not have any rebate options. It's a shorter term for your loan. In a lot of car dealers, there are model restrictions on that for 0%, and something that's so careful to remember. If you do have a loan where it's 0% on your auto, late payments can actually void that 0%. So you want to read that fine print and make sure that you're understanding all the documents when you're signing before you purchase a car at 0%. Now, these next few slides, these are just some numbers for us to look at. Let's say if we bought a $20,000 car, we put $2,000 down, that's going to leave us with $18,000, but the manufacturer has a rebate for $2,000. So our amount that we're going to finance is only $16,000. Now, let's say if we were able to do this at 4% interest rate at 84 months, your payment would be $219 a month. So your total cost that you're going to pay for that is $18,396. So those are some of the things that we want to look at when we are looking at our interest rates and our terms. And then we can see here on this one, the price of our car is $20,000, the down payment's $2,000, amount financed is $18,000, and there's not any rebates. Well, the dealer did 0% for 72 months at $250 a month, so that's exactly what we paid for the car is $18,000. Now we want to look at this one where our price again is $20,000. We put $2,000 down, which leaves our price at $18,000. Manufacturer rebate is at $2,000, so we've got $16,000. However, this time our interest rate's at 9% for 80 months. So your payment's going to be $257 a month, totaling up $21,588. So that's a big difference on your interest rates that you can just see what 5 points will do from that. Now, we definitely want to make sure that we do our homework. And before, if you have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to ask those in that chat box, and someone from our team will get back with you in the next 24 hours. But you definitely want to make sure that you do your homework before you go car shopping. What is it that we want? We want to look at all the data again, make sure that we've got all of those things going for it, and that we are getting the best deal and that we're pre-approved. That's so important to make sure that we've gotten pre-approved before we go in there. Also, we want to look at, do we want to trade it in or do we want to sell it ourselves? Know the value of your vehicle. We've got 3 different places you can look here at the Kelley Blue Book, at Edmond, and also at the NADA. Trade-in is very convenient. You will not get a top dollar for your cars if you sold it for yourself if you choose to trade it in, but it's a lot less hassle. Also, if you choose to sell it yourself, it could be a hassle, extra legwork, and you'll typically get more money though when you decide to sell it yourself. I know for me, a year and a half ago, I had tried selling my car by myself for a little bit. I got a couple of offers on it, and it did get to be a hassle. And I remember the night I told my husband, you know what? Let's just wait a little bit longer because I'm not even sure exactly what I want yet. And then when it came time that I found exactly what I wanted, I actually decided to trade it in through the dealership just so I didn't have to mess with that hassle. But it's completely up to you and whatever would be the easiest for you to do. We also want to look on, can I save on my car insurance? Yes, you can. Maintaining good credit history is definitely a way to save on your car insurance. Higher deductibles mean lower premiums. So you want to look at that. So if your deductible is $1,000, if your deductible is $1,000, then your premium may be lower. But if you have a 500 or even there's some deductibles out there at 0, then your premiums are a lot higher. So that's what you have to look at. What is it that you can afford and what best fits your budget? You want to definitely compare car insurance costs. And like Kat was saying earlier, her and her husband went through CUNA Mutual. If you're a member at Oklahoma Central, please reach out to CUNA. We have their information on our website, and they're more than happy to help you. We also have through Seek Other discounts that we want to look at. So it's through Member Haven. It'll be Member Haven through the insurance that we offer. And Seek Other discounts is if you have had no accidents or no tickets, if you drive less miles during the year than most people, or even if you take a self-defense driving course. I actually had, out of my 4 kiddos, I had one of them actually take that, and it did lower their car insurance for them. Kat, do you have anything on this part to add for their insurance that someone else that I may not have mentioned in this or to think of?
No, just just shopping. And sometimes if you have a quote and you take it to your current insurer, sometimes they can work around that and try to meet that quote, and you can just remain with them. So it's very similar to going to the dealership and negotiating the price of the vehicle, which of course we all know is not very fun. But yeah, you can show your quotes to your insurance company, and they might be able to meet it. You just never know.
That's fantastic. I learned something else today. I did not realize that you could do that. I've just always switched them. So here, why should we buy an extended warranty? So if we plan to keep your vehicle after the factory warranty runs out, you definitely want to buy an extended vehicle. Shop around for the best deal. You want to purchase an extended warranty anytime before your original warranty expires. And do not buy under pressure. That's one of the most important things. I know one of my biggest regrets of purchasing a very long time ago, I actually was out just looking at a car dealer and ended up purchasing a car, and I kept that car for about 7 years. But it was something I regretted every single time. So we definitely want to make sure that we do not buy under pressure. Now, people will ask, what is gap protection? Well, it covers the difference between the value of your car at the time that if it's totaled and your outstanding loan balance. Gap can vary on where you purchased your plan. A debt cancellation agreement waives the gap on differences owed. And consider if you put little or no money down, you roll an unpaid balance on an old loan to a new one, or you take out an extended term up to 84 months. So there's some different things to do your homework on and to look at to make sure that gap is exactly what you need and is a good fit for you. And if you do your loan through the credit union, our loan officers are more than happy to explain gap in more detail for you. What kind of shopper are you? This is important to know. Are you a value shopper that you'll pay for good quality? Are you an image shopper, like you're concerned more what your vehicle will say about you? Are you a methodical shopper that you enjoy the chase as much as you enjoy the conquest, that you cover all your bases and by the end you'll be an expert car buyer? Are the kind of cars that you're shopping for is more because you're more safety conscious and you want to make sure that you have a safe, reliable vehicle? And are you a shortcut shopper where you'll read all the National Highway Traffic Safety and the new government 5-star ratings and decide from your car for that? So as we're about to wrap up our webinar, we thank you for joining us today here at Oklahoma Central. Easy peasy. Now it's time to shop. Definitely want to make sure we ask questions, we shop around, we do our research, purchase within our budget, and we don't show too much emotion when we get there. If you find a car that you really like, you don't want to show them that you really like that vehicle. And also you want to be patient and be willing to walk away if it's not the car that you're looking for. Again, we'd like to thank you for joining us today at Oklahoma Central for our webinar, and we look forward to seeing you back this summer with the rest of our webinars. We hope that you have a great day today. Thank you.